All right. Welcome back to the First Brothers podcast. It's your boy Mutsa Chris Don back in the cut. Join me, my two brothers, Nkosi and Samson. What's goody, brothers? In this particular episode, listener, we'll be giving our predictions and preview. It's a preview of the Champions League second legs. So between Arsenal and PSG, Barcelona, Inter Milan. We're also going to briefly discuss the Europa League second legs as well. We have Spurs versus Bodo, whatever, however you say that, and we also have Man United versus Athletic Bilbao. So we have that, and I believe Chelsea as well is in a conference. What is it? Was that a semi-final too? Conference
Yeah,
semi-final
yeah, it's a
against.
semi-final.
Again, I don't know what that team's name is. I haven't been paying attention to that one.
Kew
but
Gardens or
Beer
Joe
Gardens.
Garden. Joe Gardens. Put some respect on that name.
Anyway, yeah, they're playing against some DJs apparently. So we'll just be giving our previews of those games, but we'll start with the Champions League for sure. We have on Tuesday we see Inter Milan and Barcelona. So let's start with that game. Right now, the aggregate score between Inter and Barca is 3-3. Very good game in the last game. I didn't expect it to be so high scoring. Actually, both quite leaky. Probably the best game that I've watched as well in a while. Like just how it was going was really exciting. So the next game is being played in Italy. What are y'all's opinions on that? Like who do y'all see who has a bit of an edge here? I think personally, Inter Milan will edge Barca. I think just given the atmosphere and the fact that Barca plays a really high line, and Inter Milan seemed to be breaking that high line pretty well, and they're also really, really good at set pieces. So I think we could potentially see Inter Milan scoring a goal and parking the bus like we've never seen it being parked before, and they just close it up, and they just hope maybe to score on set pieces, but they'll just keep it locked in and tight because they know that Barca, if they try to, the mano a mano, Barca also has great talents. Yamin Lamal has been balling like crazy. So they'll probably just lock up shop. So I do see Inter Milan trying to get that first goal early and then just parking the bus. But yeah, Samson, what do you think? What's your preview or prediction of that Inter Barca game?
I thought Inter would squeak through, and I thought there wouldn't be a lot of goals, but I was wrong about that. I think it'll still be a close game. I still expect to see goals because I think Barcelona's wingers, they were really exploiting their one-on-one matchups. Yamal, it didn't even matter if it was one-on-one. It could have been, 3-on-1, 4-on-1. It really didn't matter. He was getting to where he wanted to be. And of course, Rafinha, just shooting from anywhere, being a threat. So I think they will still get goals. But the thing that surprised me was, another thing that surprised me was how dangerous Inter were on the counter-attack. And I'm not sure if people remember, but Joel Koundé, Barca's right back, went off injured. He is not expected back until late May. So if he plays again, it's going to be in the Champions League final in this competition. Alejandro Balde, their left back, I thought he was going to be back for that game. He's still not back yet. He might come back for the next game. Who knows? But with the way Barca finished the last game, they were playing four centre backs as their back four, and they were being destroyed on every counter attack. In fact, I think a lot of people were shocked when Inzaghi, Inter coach, took off Denzel Dumfries because he was having his way with Inigo Martinez there at the back. There was nothing that man could do. Because the problem with playing four centre backs, especially the four centre backs Barca was playing, is that these guys are slow. And you're playing a very high line. You're literally at the halfway line. And the problem with these guys, they're not just slow in one way. Like, they're slow laterally, so moving side to side, and they're slow coming up to a full sprint. So you're at the halfway line, you have these two wing backs on the they are on the outside, they are literally trying to touch the line and they're just playing these long balls over. You could see these guys like gassed, just trying to keep up with them, man. Just, like fighting for their lives. So I think it's going to be another end-to-end game. And it's literally just going to be about who's left standing because I don't think Barca's defense's problems are going away, both from the counterattack and set pieces. And I don't think Inter are going to be able to contain Yamal or Rafinha. They weren't even able to keep Ferran Torres quiet. I thought he actually did a pretty good job, subbing for Lewandowski. And also, Barca's midfield is pretty good. You have Pedri in there, you have De Jong. They do a really great job. And Olmo, they do a great job in supplying those wingers and strikers. So I think you'll see, even more goals. But yeah, I think Inter are just a little bit better. I, I keep looking at Barca's line. Those injuries, man, I still think if you don't change something, man, you're really asking for trouble. And Inter, those wingbacks of theirs, those strikers, they're going to give you trouble. And I think we see an Inter Milan win in the second leg.
What's your score prediction?
I'm going to go 4-3. 4-3 or 3-2, one of the two. But it's going to be high scoring, but Inter just to get the decisive goal for me.
Okay, Mongoro, what are your thoughts on that Inter Barca game? What do you see? Who do you see coming out on top in that game?
I'd say it's going to be, as Samson mentioned, going to continue the same basketball game we watched the other day. And I think the biggest thing for me is it's still going to be close. As I mentioned, a draw in the first leg. I didn't expect it to be that many goals, given that it was a semi-final. But as I think these teams, I think this is a perfect case of these teams are pretty much at the same level, both of them together. I think it's going to be, for me personally, I'd say it's going to be about who turns up on the day and who makes the least number of mistakes. Because that first leg, if you cut out some of the mistakes, I think a team walks away with the comfortable win. I think when we look at on the Inter side, if Inter can take care of Lamine Yamal, like in terms of if they have to double team or do something different tactically, because he was having his way with Oscar DeMarco there the first leg. Like, he was doing whatever he wanted at any point. Even when Mkhitaryan came to help him, he was still doing whatever he wanted. I think he even got subbed at halftime. That's how bad it was. And that other character came on. And then when we look at the Barca side with their high line, they know they need to take care of Dumfries and Marcus Thuram. I think I saw that Lautaro went off in that game with an injury. I don't know if he's back this upcoming week. But like, when you take care of, I'm saying it's about who will be able to take care of the talisman or the danger men from the other team that prevails in this game, because that's how I believe that that's how close the margins are on both sides, and who makes the least mistakes, in my opinion. In terms of prediction, I'd say this one potentially could be a 2-2 draw in the second leg, and then we could see penalties, and then whatever happens there is a 50-50 in terms of penalties, because I know that some of these guys can't take penalties. So we'll see how it goes. That's just my take.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that'll be great. Who do you have your money on in a penalty shootout though? Like, who has the better goalkeeper?
I think at that point it's not really about goalkeeper. I'd say Jan Sommer's pretty good, but Szczesny is also pretty decent. So I'll probably edge Barca through there on the penalty shootout.
Interesting. Okay. No, that'll be yeah. Okay, cool. That's Barca and Inter Tuesday. So on Wednesday we have PSG Arsenal.
By the way,
huh?
just before we move on to that, I just saw
Yeah.
that Lautaro Martinez is probably not going to play the Barca game because he's being monitored day to day. But medical experts say the injury suffered. The expected amount of time to recover is 2 weeks. So Even if he is available, he'll probably come off the bench, but it's unlikely that he plays. So we'll see. That actually, I feel like that might change my prediction a little bit. I might go with the penalties situation now because I feel like he losing him for a whole game. Yeah, I feel like that takes a lot away. So I still say Inter to win it though in
Think
extra
Inter will do
time or
better in
penalty.
penalties against Barca?
I'd say they win it in extra time or penalties. Another set piece, something like that. Penalties. Well, one side is missing Lewandowski, the other side is missing Lautaro. One side is more experienced, the other side is much younger. So I'll go with the more experienced side, Inter to win penalty if it goes to penalties.
I personally hope it doesn't go to penalties. I just want a nice, quick, short 90-minute item, and we're out of there. I don't want to sit there and watch two tired teams go at it. Yeah, not going to extra time would be nice. Okay, so shifting gears to PSG Arsenal. In the first leg, we saw PSG score a goal. It was a 1-0 aggregate game. They play on Wednesday. So right now, PSG already won their league in France, I believe. So I'm sure they've been, they have a bit more rest and it's not as much pressure. Whereas Arsenal, yeah, I mean, their Premier League, it's not necessarily like they're fighting for anything in the Premier League anymore, except to remain in the top five. But we also did see Arsenal lose with their strong team. They have a thinner squad. It's about managing the squad for Arteta right now. And the fact that they're traveling to Italy, they're going to be at PSG's home ground. So anyway, my predictions for that game, just given how I've seen Arsenal's form and how everything has been, I do see PSG edging them as well in that particular game. I do see PSG winning that game, probably 2-1. And then they go through. But that's kind of how I see things happening. I just don't think Arsenal have the juice anymore. I think this is where the road stops. But Mangoro, what are your predictions for this game before we turn it over to the Arsenal fan in the group?
I would say, as I mentioned earlier, this is the end of the road for Arsenal. I mentioned that earlier. I say that because Arsenal have had chances in the first leg. As we saw, Donnarumma had turned into prime Gigi Buffon there at the Emirates. But I went back and I looked at some of the games he's played in England, and he's had some blinders because we forget the Euro 2020 final. Donnarumma was doing his thing against Liverpool at Anfield. He did his thing against Arsenal in the first leg against Martinelli and Trossard. Those chances, he really showed up there. So, there were chances there for Arsenal to equalize there and then balance the game. But I think the second leg will be as cagey as the first one. I don't know if Samson can shed some light on the Partey situation, because not having Partey there, I think Vitinha, that child, João Neves, and Fabian Ruiz were doing whatever they wanted in that midfield. So I think Arsenal do need to have Partey back for that balance, because now when you bring Merino into midfield, you kind of kill the whole system, because now when you're playing Trossard up front, it's a different dimension on how you want to attack. And Mr. No Show God, I think, he needs to step up. As a club captain, these are the games where you need to step up, because it's very important at this point, because this is the potential trophy you could win this season, or even just get to a final. This is going to be Arsenal. If they get to the final, this is going to be their second final, I think, in about 21 years, or 19 years, sorry, 19 years. So I think it's going to be important for them. Looking at the game, I think PSG will do what they did the first leg. They'll just try and control and contain Arsenal, and then just play through the lines like they did for the goal between Kvara and Dembele, because Dembele did go collect the ball from the defense and the midfield section, and then make the run and then play the pass to Kvara. So I think they're going to try something similar. Arsenal will have to come out and play. I don't know if that is going to be good for them, or that could put them at a disadvantage, because they're going to now have to do some one-on-one defending at the back. And we know people like Kvara and Desiree Doué. Timber, he needs to up his game, because that first leg against Kvara was pretty hard for him. Without the support that he was getting, I think he was going to be cooked like for like the whole rest. As he was cooked that game, like I think it was going to be far worse. So personally, I think when I look at this particular game, I think it's still going to be as edgy and as close as it was. But from a results perspective and a prediction perspective, I do see a draw again. In particular, maybe a 1-1 draw, because I think PSG psychologically might already be thinking about the final, so they might try and catch Arsenal on a quick goal like they did in the first leg, or vice versa, and then see how Arsenal react, and then just start playing on the counter for the rest of the game. That's how tight I see it, because if Arsenal have Partey back, I think that changes the dimension of the game. If they don't, then I think it will kind of like sway the scales back to PSG, because this PSG team is turning out to be the giant killer in this Champions League. It could potentially be Liverpool, and then potentially Arsenal, and then maybe in the final Barca or Inter, and those are some heavy scalps. So for me personally, I do see a draw of 1-1, and our friends over there in Paris heading to the Champions League final, and they do have a manager who has experience at winning this particular competition. So maybe that might work as an advantage for them. So we'll see how it goes for the boys from Paris.
Yeah, I think this one's gonna go to extra time. Um, I still pick Arsenal to win, of course. Um, I think um, I'm not sure if Timber's actually gonna play. I think he's an injury doubt because he didn't play this weekend. I think it might be Ben White against Kvara. I don't know if I like that matchup because I think Ben White is a worse one-on-one defender. Um, but at the same time, I do think Partey is probably going to play. So it's probably going to be a midfield of Rice, Partey, and Odegaard. And I think you will see Merino go back up top and Trossard drop to the bench. I think that's probably the strongest lineup that we can put out. Um, the threat PSG offers, and the way they were able to dominate the first 20 minutes against us at the Emirates, I think that was largely due to the fact that Arsenal were really unable to hold on to the ball and were unable to play out from the back. Um, and part of that is Odegaard's fault, part of that is Rice's fault, I think. But with Partey there, I think it's different, because I think he's a lot better at receiving that ball from Raya, turning, delivering it to, whether it's Odegaard or Rice, or playing a direct pass. So I think PSG's midfield will have a different job to do. Um, I see them doing a lot more tracking back, especially the two wingers, because the first 30 minutes in the Emirates, those two guys weren't going back because they didn't have to. Kafaro was just waiting for the ball, so he could go back and terrorize Timber. He didn't have to run back and defend with Nuno Mendes. I think this game he might, because I think Arsenal will have better control of the ball, and that will help them kind of dictate things. Um, Donnarumma is tough, but I think with more control of the ball, potentially more opportunities being created, I think Arsenal do score one. Um, and I think the defense probably holds on and gets to extra time, and I think that's where it gets decided. I don't know who scores it then. I think anyone could win it at that point because I think individual brilliance on either side. I can see Dembele winning the game for PSG. I can see Kvara winning the game for PSG. Same time, I can also see Bukayo Saka winning the game for Arsenal. Because I think when you get to that stage, minds tire, legs tire. These one-on-one opportunities become more prevalent. So yeah, my prediction is I'm seeing a 1-0 to Arsenal in regulation, and it either goes to penalties or Arsenal will score again in extra time and win the tie there. But yeah, that's what I see. A 2-0 or a 1-1 and a penalty and a win on penalties.
Okay, because I was gonna say, just thinking about like form, you know, like, are you a little worried about Arsenal's current form? Because right now I'm also looking at PSG, and PSG did lose yesterday to Strasbourg in the French league. But again, they've already like won. They've already won the French league, so they don't have much pressure. So even if I'm looking at the lineup right now, they did rest a lot of their star players. Vitinha didn't even play. I don't even think Due came in a little later, but I don't think Dembele, because Dembele came out with an injury if I'm not mistaken in the first leg. I don't know if he's gonna be back for this game, because even in the game yesterday he wasn't on the bench. So
I'm not
I need
sure.
to just see if he's gonna. He might not be back by then, but it's not too certain. But yeah. So are you worried though about Arsenal's form getting into this game? Because it seems like there's been a bit of a dip.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not so worried about the form because I think the way we conceded the goal in the first leg and the way, the first leg went, I think a lot of it just had to do with us not being able to hold on to the ball. And I don't think that's a form thing. I think that was a tactical thing. Because as you saw in the second half, we did grow into the game. We were taking more chances, it's not like I don't think it was a bad performance necessarily. I think the game was won by one player's fantastic individual moment. I mean, the goal Dembele scored, you know, that he put the ball in the one place that is damn near impossible for her to save because it hit the post and went in, right?
Hmm.
And it was one time, like barely any time to reach out and block him. So it's like, all right, like there's not much, form can do for you in a situation like that. So I don't think form has anything to do with it. I think it's more matchups and, just like the tactical battle, like what team is going to be able to dictate play, maintain pressure, and create opportunities. And I think we'll see early on, like whether having party in the side changes things. I will say, like if we have a similar first 30 minutes as we did on Tuesday, I think it's over. If adding party doesn't change anything towards like the flow of the game, how things are going, I think you can say it's over. But if that changes something and the dynamic, because I think you saw second leg Liverpool PSG. I think it was the second half. Liverpool had those guys in their box, like basically the entire second half, just pressed. So I think if Oslo could do something similar where they're just on top of them, I'll be a lot more confident of like, okay, I think something's gonna happen here. But if I don't see anything of like of that nature and where they're still generating all these one-on-one opportunities, still pressing us, still controlling the ball, just knocking around, then yeah, the tie's probably dead at that point.
Mm. Do you guys potentially see PSG? Like, do you foresee any chance of them parking the bus from the jump to just
Yeah,
protect their one goal lead, or they're gonna go for it?
no, they don't know how. They literally do not know how. Like if they try to do that, I think we're smacking them 3-0. Like honestly, I don't think they know how to do that. So they're still gonna press high. They're still gonna like go man to man in midfield, high line, and that's just how they do things. Because I think they have the quality to do it. It's just about whether Arsenal can match them. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, yeah, no, that sounds good. That should be an exciting game for sure. No, we've got a lot of good football to watch this week. I'm looking forward to it. These are two really good semifinals, and I think yeah, the final game between whoever it's gonna be, it's gonna be pumping. It's gonna be a good showing. So looking at Europa League, so Spurs play Bodo right now. Spurs have a 3-1. Um that's the aggregate right now. So we play. I believe we all play on Thursday. They play at the same time on Thursday. So yeah, I guess we can start with the Spurs one and finish the United one. Um, Personally, I hope again, Spurs is Spurs. You never know. I think it's very possible that we go to Norway, play Bodo Glimt, and concede 2 goals and it goes to extra time and they have the energy to either win at pens or win it in the end. It's very, very possible. But I do, given how we played in the first leg, I think we should have really kept it at 3-0. The fact that we even considered a goal was like, hey, but I know that we're a better team than them, to be honest. Like those guys, they're decent, but they're not as good as Spurs is. And even given our game this past week, like, we didn't lose, we actually drew. And yeah, I mean, it was a decent game. So we'll see. So I do see us comfortably going through to the final, to be honest. But again, Spurs is Spurs. So I don't know if you all, yeah, what are your opinions on this particular game, Goro? I think it's probably going to be a quick one on Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs are going to go through. I saw Bodo Klimt in the first leg, not good enough. So I think Spurs will pretty much sail comfortably to the Europa League final.
Yeah. Sange?
Yeah, yeah, I'll say Spurs will go through, but at the same time, Bodo Glimt, I was curious about their last round. I think they played Lazio in their last round. Um, they were pretty good at home against Lazio. They beat them 2-0. Um, and then they lost 3-1 away from home. So they were just able to, I think they snuck through and, yeah, by a goal. Um, was it penalties? Actually, it might have been penalties. Anyways, I don't think, I think you guys will beat them probably. Like, I think that's what logic says. You guys will probably take care of them. But I think looking through their past games, they've had a really good record at home in Europa League. So I don't think it's going to be the same easy game. I don't think you'll hit them 3-1 again. Might be a bit closer. I wouldn't be surprised if they score first, make you guys sweat a little bit. But yeah, just watching them against you guys the first time, yeah, it looked like they were just not at the level. So yeah, you guys are probably going to go through. But that one goal, it puts doubt, So who knows? They score 1 goal, 2 goals in the first half. Like it gets a little dicey. I think what Spurs don't want is you don't want this to turn into a mental game. You do not want that. You're away from home. Most of the crowd is going to be Bodo Glimt fans. A lot of inexperience in that team. Like, you do not want them to score 1 or 2 goals in the first half. Like, if you guys keep it tight first half and it's 3-1 still on aggregate by halftime, I think you're good. If they even score 1, that's a nasty setup for extra time with just some funny things happening. So yeah, but I think you guys should be fine.
Oh yeah, let me quickly add another thing that is not spoken about quite often, especially with this game, is that they play on artificial turf. So I don't know how much of an impact that could potentially have in the outcome of the game, because as Samson mentioned there, they've won a lot of their games at home in the Europa League. So I'm pretty sure Lazio's better than them. So I think Lazio became unstuck when they got there and they started seeing this fake grass. So I think Spurs' adaptation to that artificial grass, I think, will probably determine if they go through or not, because you could get there and then stink up the place and go out because you're not familiar with the turf. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, I hope we don't bow out just because brothers couldn't handle fake grass. That'll be an embarrassing end to our season. So I hope that won't be the case. But okay, yeah, sounds good. So moving forward to the Athletic Club and Man United game. Man United currently are 3 goals ahead. Athletic Club received a red card in the first leg. Very, very suspicious game in my humble opinion. I don't believe I failed to understand if double jeopardy doesn't count in these games, because again, a player was sent off because he pulled down a player in the box and then he was sent off. I thought that rule was scraped and that at most it's a yellow card and a penalty, but the fact that it was a straight red card, I was very, very surprised by that. And I don't even think it deserved a red card to begin with because that all happened in the very, very beginning of the game. And I think they just killed off the game because that guy received that red card in the 35th minute. So I do hope that Athletic Club will be able to come back and handle the business. Since this game is being played at Old Trafford, we did see Man United concede 4 goals against Brentford. Was that today? So, they're very leaky back there. They're very, very leaky there at United. The fact that they could concede 4 goals in a day today. So all Athletic has to do, if they can score 2 in the first half, then we're gonna see something crazy. And we also saw in the previous game when United actually were able to move to this stage of the Europa League, were was it Lyon? Where
Yeah.
like it was just like goal after goal, and they kind of just edged it at the very end. But again, this is United. United, things could just happen really quickly, and the downfall can be very, very quick. We might see Maguire playing right back tomorrow. I mean, Thursday. Who knows? He plays wherever he wants, that brother. So, anyway. Mongoro, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on this game between Man United and Athletic Club?
I think the red card in the first leg killed the entire tie, like both legs, because what they had to do then is readjust their whole team. They made changes and then they just played so openly. I don't know why Valverde decided that he should have the team so open. I know Manchester United have been doing well, but like, come on, like, at least like if you lose 1-0 at home, you're down to 10 men, you can be able to take that to Old Trafford and then do something and then see what you can come up with there. At least there you'll have your full complement. But 3-0 I think is pretty damning. I don't think they'll be able to come back. I think United will sail through to the final. They've been playing their kids in the Premier League, like players that they know they're going to play in the next coming game. So I think for them, they're very focused on this, and I think they already know that psychologically they're already in the final. So I think they'll pretty much be fine. I don't see any scares here. While there could potentially be a scare because the final is being played at San Mamés, and San Mamés is Athletic Bilbao's home stadium, the one that was played the first leg. So they could potentially be motivated by the fact that it could be at their home stadium. But I don't know, 3-0 is far too much, especially at home. Like when you've lost like that at home, going away, you don't have that support. You're like in a cold room away from home and people are booing you. There's going to be a lot of things happening. So I think United will be comfortable. We'll probably even win it like 1 or 2-0 and then just sail through to the final.
Wait, what about the red card thing? Why is it that the rule as a rule not fully changed for every competition? Because I was confused again by the fact that it was a straight red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's competition based. Some of these competitions, like they still apply it, like the European competitions, whereas in like the Premier League, which is what and La Liga and all the other leagues, the standard domestic leagues, it's been changed there, but it didn't translate across to these European competitions, from what I understand.
Yeah. I agree with everything Kosi said, and the referee really is the MVP of this tie. That's if Manchester United do lift that trophy, that's the person they gotta send a medal to because I still don't know how the referee, number one, the referee, number two, the VAR officials. Because I guarantee you, because I think it was Garnacho who held the ball in the build-up.
Oh yeah.
If he goes on to score that, like he dribbles past the guy and scores, they're going to say that goal doesn't count because you held it. Like, they're 100% going to do that. So it's like, well, if you're looking at the whole play, right, before the thing, and you even see, like, the Bilbao players stop playing, which, again, fine, you want to penalize them for that, fine. But they stopped playing. And even the way the guy who got sent off, I think he just held Hoyland because he thought, oh, right, he's going to call the thing, the handball. And he's shocked because he's like, why are you judging this? Like, there's a clear handball right there. He uses his hand to control the ball, and then he plays in the cross. It's like, what's VR doing? Like, are you not looking at the whole play? Like, is that not part of the play? So I thought, fine, you give a yellow card penalty, sure, but a red card as well? He screwed them for both games because, again, that's one of their better center backs. He's not available now. So, sure, what if Bilbao score 3 goals, make a comeback? The defender they bring in scores an own goal. Like, there's no telling how much you've screwed them just by that one decision. So I think, yeah, the referee, yeah, really, he should take a long, hard look at himself there before he's done. But yeah, I think there's no chance Bilbao come back. I know they're really going to be motivated. It's at their own stadium. Listen, a lot of players, a lot of teams have had the ambitions of winning things in their home stadium. Just ask Chelsea about, I mean, Mangori here about Bayern Munich. He'll tell you all about them. It doesn't always work out. You can have the passion, you can have the desire, and sometimes it's not enough. And this time it's just not going to be enough because 3-0. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You do not have the juice to beat United for 4-0 at their home stadium. As bad as they are, I don't think you have it in you, Bilbao. If this was another team, maybe, but no, not Bilbao. Not with the players they have.
I want to have faith. I think they can do it. They just have to score the three and then take it to extra time and figure it out from there. Because I think it's very, very possible. This is United, guys. United have been conceding goals like crazy. We know what Onana does there in the goal. Like they could literally concede 2 goals in 5 minutes, and things change.
That's what Bilbao did. 2 goals in 5 minutes. I mean, they capitulated just as much as they're expecting United to capitulate. That's a problem. Like, are they gonna actually keep it tight themselves? I don't, without one of their best defenders, like, I don't see it. I think, fine. Imagine they score 5. I still think they concede 3. And I think that's the problem. So, I don't think they make it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's gonna be the more exciting game. Hopefully, Athletic Club do bring it. Hopefully they do. Yeah, hopefully they say, you know what, we might as well go all out since the final will happen on their home turf, and then Spurs goes over there and we beat them for it. Because, hey, I ain't gonna lie, a Spurs and United Europa League final, 16 and 17 in the Premier League going head to head. It's gonna be nuts. And given how much I troll my United fans, if we lose that game, hey,
Yeah, it's gonna be long for you, bro.
it's gonna be very, very long. And if Spurs beat United and our first trophies against them, yeah, United fans, I pray for you, because if you think I'm bad now, I'm gonna be in people's houses sleeping in their beds. That's how bad I'm gonna be. Like, and no, yeah, I'll be just whispering in your ear the entire time, like, just, hey yo, we beat y'all. There won't be no rest. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. So if those two teams do. Also, the fact is, Tottenham have also beaten United 3 times this season. We haven't actually lost to Man United at all this season, because I think it's been 1 draw. We drew 1 game and we beat them 3 of those games. So I think we've played 4 times this season. So the odds are in our favor, actually, when it comes to United. But again, anything can happen in that game. And I don't think I'd rather we lose to Athletic Club than lose to Man United. I think that'll be. And if you were to tell me, Mutsa, would you rather go to the final and lose to United, or would you rather lose to Bodo Glimt? I'm taking Bodo Glimt. I'd rather it end now than we lose in the final to United. Like, that's the honest truth. So that's what I have to say about that. Cool. Any less thoughts on Chelsea on this before we move to Chelsea playing the Djurgården on Thursday as well?
Nothing on my side. I think very quick on the Chelsea Djurgården one. I think that's a dead rubber. I think Chelsea have gone through. The guys from Djurgården are probably the worst people to ever play in this tournament, and the fact that they got to a semi-final shows the quality that's in this tournament. Like, as I would see, I think we're gonna see a lot of like the Chelsea youth players, like players that don't get a chance, get given an opportunity to run around here because Garden is pretty much done at this point. Because for one, I don't think they can come back from that, and some of the goals they conceded in that first leg were just bad. Like you could just see that it's levels above. There was actually a stat that came out that Garden squad cost 21 million and Chelsea's squad cost 856 million. So it's not that it's levels, but like if your squad is really worth 21 million, I don't think you should be in any form of final. So I think Chelsea will comfortably go through there.
And they're also like 10th in I don't know which country they even play, but they're
Sweden.
10th.
They play in Sweden.
Yeah.
Were they in Sweden? Yeah, they are like 10th in that league. So I can't foresee them scoring 3 goals against you guys and something happens. So anyway, Samson.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. Like, I know first position in one of those leagues, like they go to like a Champions League playoff and second, third Europa playoff. So like, I know them being 10th has more to do with them being in a European competition and balancing that, the same way. Like they're 10th right now, the same way Newcastle were 10th last season, right? So like, I sort of get that, but at the same time, you're 10th, bro. Like, you are 10th. Like that is where you are right now, and you did lose 4-1 in the first leg. So yeah, it's over. There's no chance. I expect to see Ivo Saka, Tyreek George, play again. Um, I really like that kid. I think the funniest thing about this Chelsea project is that the actual youth players are the ones stepping up. I think that's just funny. I think that it probably bothers Todd Bowley when he looks at the because I doubt he watches the games, especially the Conference League. He just looks at the score sheet because I'm sure he wants to look at the score sheet and look for the guys he signed. Like, oh, this guy scored a goal today. Nice, he scored a goal. But then he's seeing some Tariq George. He's like, what the hell is this? I don't even know you. So I'm happy to see more Chelsea youth players shine. Although I do fear for them because I know Todd Bowley is gonna just look at them as just walking money because how they come up on the balance sheet. Even of course he knows like pure profit, right? 100% profit. So I worry for them where they're gonna end up, but I'm happy to see them getting this opportunity because yeah, it's good. All these star signings, but it's the young guys, the youth players, homegrown who are shining. That's always a good thing. So shout out to them.
Yeah, no, no. Shout out to them for real. Let's see what happens in that game. But that is a good rundown of all these games. The Premier League teams have really shown themselves to be quite superior this time around in all these cup competitions. There's an English team still present in all the cup competitions. Potentially even in Europa, we're gonna have potentially 2 English Premier League teams going head to head. So, this is very good stock. I think the Premier League is where football is at. As we can see, like the quality of throughout all levels of cup competitions. So yeah, but anyway, it's gonna be a very good week, and I'm excited to see what we get to get to witness on these football pitches. But yeah, that was just a good preview of all these upcoming games. Listener, let us know in the chat what your predictions are for sure. And if you have any other comments to make about these upcoming games, any final thoughts on any of the any final thoughts on any of the upcoming games?
I would say shout out to Anthony. I saw he scored a screamer with his right foot in the Conference League semi-final. So I think he'll be playing Chelsea in the final. Shout out to him. That one's for Manchester United. So yeah, shout out to him, man. What a talent. Turned his season around.
Yeah, it's going to be very funny if he scores against Chelsea in the final. Like, I can't imagine what his price tag is right now, because I'm sure all the United fans watching him every week is like, it must be painful, That must be the one because I'm sure they all thought this is the worst player we've ever signed. and now he's like scoring screamers left, right. I think he even scored this weekend.
He did.
He scored like a last minute, not a last minute, but like a pretty late winner for Betis today or yesterday. So shout out to him, yeah, shout out to him. Really killing it right now.
No, he's been doing that. I'm happy for him because he suffered a lot there at Man United. So I'm glad that he's finally somewhere where he's respected and adored, and his talents can shine. So any United players watching this, there's comfort in other environments. You don't have to languish in the Premier League or at United anyway. You can find peace elsewhere.
Anywhere else is better.
It really is.
Anthony Langa.
Exactly. I'm sure
Scott McTominay.
I'm sure Hojent right now, if he leaves, or Xerxes, if they were to go somewhere else, they could actually start cooking. Especially Hojent, given how much abuse he gets for just being so terrible. But yeah, I'm sure he could shine there at Kaizer Chiefs. So.
You know the what's it called? What's that league called again? The SA League. The PSL.
The
do
better
like their
Premiership.
yeah, absolutely. They do like their token white boy, who just shines. So yeah, he'd shine in there, have a
He
nice
shines so
season.
well.
Yeah. You should think about it.
He
Think about
should.
it.
Yeah, greatest player ever to don South Africa. He could cook. And he wouldn't feel too out of place because the Afrikaners there in SA. So, there's the Dutch element too, a little bit. So,
I mean, he's Danish though.
oh, he's Danish? Damn, I thought
Yeah.
he was from Netherlands. My bad.
He does have a Afrikaner build. I can't lie.
He does.
He does have
He does.
a
He
little
does look like
something
he likes to
about
walk
him.
barefoot in supermarkets. He gives me that vibe.
Yeah.
Gives me that vibe. Yeah.
I can see it.
It doesn't clean out his feet. I know it's black there. Anyways, with that, listener, we appreciate your time and we will catch you on the next one. So, peace out.